Madam Chairman, with our Chief of Staff, Honorable Ministers, Members of Parliament, Nei Kwejato III, the Mankrado of Dodowa, the Jasihini of Dodowa, and the Chief of Dodowa, Director and staff of the Ministry for Special Development Initiatives, the 10-member regional teams present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my distinct privilege and honor to participate in this opening session of the Inauguration and Orientation program that would crystallize the implementation of our flagship program, the Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program, or IPEP. Let me congratulate all of you for being able to participate in this program within this short notice, especially those of you coming from different regions. Your choice is an expression of confidence by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President, in you personally and collectively, because he's putting probably the most important project of this administration in your capable hands. Your prompt response to our call assures us that we can count on your full cooperation and support in the implementation of these critical local infrastructure and other development programs aimed at eradicating poverty. Over the years, various governments have embarked on the fight against poverty. However, the incidence of poverty remains high and pervasive. According to the World Bank report on poverty reduction in Ghana, progress and challenges, Ghana has indeed made progress in the fight against poverty. Between 1991 and 2013, extreme poverty levels dropped from 37.6% to 9.6%. But at the same time, there were still growing inequalities, regional disparity in welfare, and a deteriorating macroeconomic environment. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's vision to transform the Ghanaian economy is anchored on accelerated growth, job creation, shared prosperity, and equal opportunity for all. It is our conviction that the provision of the needed infrastructure at the grassroots level will lead to the creation of employment, develop human capital, promote local and foreign investment, fuel business productivity and expansion, and help many communities, help raise the standard of living and quality of our people in many communities. As we campaigned during the election, we went to all parts of Ghana. I think there was hardly any village that we didn't visit in the 4 years, one way either personally or other members of the party. And as I accompanied the president in some of those trips, in the campaign trips, we would reach certain places and he would turn around and say, Mamadou, I say, yes, sir. Says, when God gives us the opportunity, we have to change this country. Because you look around and you don't understand. You get to a village and the people will gather and they will tell you, well, our major need is a borehole. After 60 years of independence, the major need is a borehole. After 60 different budgets, where we have been allocating money for development, both central and local. Many villages I went to, our major need is a toilet. Major need, major need. Says, if you give us a toilet, then we wouldn't ask for anything else. Major problem, right? Because if you don't have a toilet, of course, you have to go and do free range. Now, free range means you are exposing yourself, snake bites, and all of that. These are real problems that our people face on the ground. Our problem, the youth don't have jobs. And you see them sitting under the trees. And so on. So we looked at this particular issue and we thought, how come, after all these years of independence, and in some of these villages, these are the people producing the cocoa and all other minerals for our development. They have all this work that profits our country. But you go there and they are living in abject poverty. They don't see the benefit of all the contributions that they are also making to national development. So we decided to take a different tack. Nana Akufo-Addo said, no. The way we are distributing the national cake is clearly not fair, because we distribute it at the top and we sit in Accra and expect that it will fall down to the bottom. But it's clear that it is not coming down to the bottom. There is a major need, and we need to address this. And so Nana Akufo-Addo suggested that we need to change that whole paradigm that we've been working on for 60 years. And that paradigm that expects that when you make that allocation, it will get to the bottom. He says, no, we have to change that paradigm and make the allocation directly to the bottom. That is the only way we can assure that it will get to the bottom. And this is where the whole idea of trying to bring about a program which we have called the Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication program. Essentially that we say, and we did not, as we said in our manifesto, we are not saying that we are bringing new money, we are going to look for new money. The existing money that we are distributing, we are going to change how it is distributed. So the monies that we are using for capital expenditure in our capital expenditure budget, we are going to take just 20% of that money. Only 20% of that money. And that 20%, which is, we calculated interestingly to be $275 million for 275 constituencies. We said that $275 million, we are going to make sure every constituency, every year, at least you get $1 million for your development. At least you will get your $1 million from this pot of the 20% of our total capital expenditure budget. You should, at least you know that your share has come. You are not waiting for it to drop from Accra. That this one too is for the constituency. And then if you then look, and this is of course separate from the District Assembly Common Fund. This is separate from the District Assembly Common Fund. This is for the constituency. Sometimes you have two constituencies in one district, isn't it? Yes. So this is separate from the District Assembly Common Fund. So you are really seeing, together with the District Assembly Common Fund, a major injection of resources to the districts for development. So if you get your $1 million per constituency, which is about 4.3 million Ghana cedis, the money, as ICQ will say, is big. It's not small. 4.3 million Ghana cedis that will come into your constituency every year. Now, if it is a school that is of the most importance, you build your school. If it's the toilet that is the most important, you build your toilet. If it's the water, you provide your boreholes. So we expect that with this type of allocation, all the basic problems that these villages face across the constituencies in Ghana should be solved within our 4-year term. We should not come back in 4 years for a village to say, oh, all we need is a toilet. No, you should have sufficient money to build toilets in all the villages in the constituency. There should be no reason why any village, as long as the water table allows us, cannot have a borehole or boreholes. So the priority initiatives, as we see them, water for all, toilets for all, the sanitation projects, one district, one factory. We expect all of these things to be implemented. In the same vein, as I say, to ensure that every Ghanaian has access to potable water and affordable water, under this program, at least we expect 25,000 boreholes to be drilled and 300 small town water supply systems to be constructed in rural areas under this program. The resources are available to do this. It's not as if we are saying to provide water for all without resources. With the monies that are coming in, you should be able to do this. A major problem that we have in the villages, as I've alluded to, are jobs. We have to find ways to create jobs. Under this particular program of the Infrastructure for Poverty, Eradication and Development, we have deliberately said that at least for this year, coming in and maybe into next year, out of your $1 million, about $500,000 should be used for one district, one factory within each of the constituencies. So the Development Authority will be prepared to invest in each constituency up to about $500,000 to support businesses. I met with some Queen Mothers just this week, and they came with very interesting business proposals. One proposal was for beekeeping, another proposal was for bread making, another was for soap making, and I believe, as I talk to them, and I want to tell all of you, the 10-member teams, as you go around, listen to our Queen Mothers and our women in their constituencies. They are really a viable source of one district, one factory in our constituency. You listen to them. Because if somebody or a group of women wants to do a soap factory, it's not going to cost a lot of money. If they want to do beekeeping, it's not going to cost, or bread making. But today's small factory that they set up, in another 4 or 5 years' time, it will be a big one. So even if you have $500,000 to expend in a constituency, the proposals that come up, you may not even be able to spend $200,000, and you will set up 3-4 factories in that constituency alone. Some women will make oil, some women will make soap, some women will make gari, some women will make some fish processing, whatever. Let's look at what the people can do and are used to doing, and let's support them to grow. They will create a lot of jobs for us. The big factories can come. But at the micro level, let's empower our women. It's very, hey, remember, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is the gender champion of Africa. He is AU gender champion. So he's always, now if you have to be very gender sensitive if you are in front of him. You have to show how you are empowering the women. And so you can see my chief of staff is always checking us, making sure we are doing the right thing. But it's very important. I mean, the trading and all of that, the ideas that our women can have, they're just tremendous as I sat with them. And so please liaise with the Queen Mothers as you go around and do these assessments to see what sort of factories can come out of the local community. It must be something they are used to doing. But if you go and it's nothing to do with the local community, how do you create the jobs? Use the resources there and let's create the jobs. IPEP will also provide for the construction of household and public toilets, as I've said, refuse collection systems, and engineered landfill sites, sewage treatment plants, and to address poor sanitation. In addition, to stimulate local economic development needs, assessment for all constituencies that you will be carrying out. The outcome of the needs assessment process will engender complementary projects, including bridges, school buildings, community-based health planning, and so on. What we are doing is basically trying to jumpstart the process. The Development Authorities Bill, we've been in the process of putting this bill together for a few months now. Of course, we are 6 months in office. But we've been in the process of putting this bill together. And I think if all goes well, either this week or early next week, we will lay it in Parliament. It will be laid in Parliament. That is very good. Give a clap for the minister for pushing this to this level. The bill will be laid in Parliament. But the president says, hey, we don't want to wait for the bill to be passed before work starts. So let us jumpstart this work because it's very important. And this is why we are asking for the 10-member teams in each region to be constituted so that you will now begin to look at the assessments and the needs of the various constituencies in each of these regions. When you put this together after consulting the various stakeholders, in the constituencies, including the MPs, and so on, once you say this village needs that, this village needs that, by the time the Development Authority is constituted, say the Coastal Development Authority is put there, then the team from the coastal regions would have essentially all the needs identified. Then what do? You move straight to procurement and action. Otherwise, they will wait for the Development Authority to be set up, then they will now have to move and do assessment. But once this is done, we jumpstart the process. They then now move to procure and implement the project so that by the end of our term in office, the first term, we will know that all of this is done. So this is Nana Akufo-Addo in action. He wants us to do this. And I think you are going to be doing a lot of work and critical work because you are addressing the needs of the communities. And I think we haven't done this in Ghana for a very long time. This is really the first time this type of program is being put together. And so we are making history. Together, Ghana is making history. We may want to make sure that everybody is part of our development process and we are not leaving anybody behind. In fact, I say that with this sort of money going into the constituencies, after 4 years, we will be now looking for projects. It will be difficult in some places. Like, what more do we do with this money? That is where I want us to get to after we've addressed all the problems. We will deal with that problem later on. I'm very optimistic that each of you will work very, very hard to ensure the successful implementation of IPEP. Please use this opportunity to make all the inquiries about IPEP and also make appropriate proposals that will strengthen and improve the implementation of IPEP. Honorable Chief of Staff, Ministers, Chiefs, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all. God bless you and God bless our homeland Ghana.
I, a member of the Central Regional Team.
Promise to work hard.
Promise to work hard
and diligently for the benefits of the communities and the regions assigned to me. I promise to be honest in reporting the information gathered from the communities assigned. I would like the last one again. I promise to be honest in reporting the information gathered from the communities. So help me God. Thank you. You are doing inauguration.